So hi friends, I am Dr. Santaji Pawar, working as an assistant professor, Swedish College of Engineering, Pandarpur. So today we discuss on the magnetism. So how we state the magnetism? The phenomenon of attracting magnetic substances like iron, nickel, cobalt. So we can say this is the magnetism. A body possessing the property of magnetism is called a magnet. So this magnet, there is the magnetic force. What is the magnetic force? Magnetic force is a point near the end of the magnet where magnetism is concentrated. We can say this is the magnetic force. So Earth is a natural magnet. So the region around the magnet in which it exerts forces on other magnets and on objects made of iron is a magnetic field. So suppose we take a one magnet, around this magnet there is the space. The space in which there is the effect of magnet, we can say this space is known as the magnetic field. So there are some of the properties of the bar magnet. A freely suspended magnet aligns itself along north south direction. And the second property of bar magnet is unlike poles attracted and like poles are repulsed to each other. Means if we take the south poles, then there is the repulsion. If we take south and north pole, then there is the attraction in between these two poles. Next property of the bar magnet is magnetic poles always exist in pairs. Means there is a no single pole. Means okay, take a one magnet, in that magnet simple there is the north pole, no. In another magnet just there is only south pole, no. In each and every magnet there is the two poles, one is the south pole and the second one is the north pole, and these two poles cannot be separated. So a magnet can induce magnetism in other magnetic substances. It attracts magnetic substances. So the repulsion is the surest test of magnetization. A magnet attracts iron rod as well as opposite pole of the other magnet. Therefore, it is not a sure test of magnetism. But if a rod is repelled with a strong force by the magnet, then the rod is surely magnetized. So now we discuss about the how was the representation of the magnetic uniform magnetic field. Okay, there are three different representations of the uniform magnetic field. So this is the first one. In this first representation of uniform magnetic field, there is the uniform field on the plane of the diagram. So this is the second one. Here uniform field perpendicular and into the plane of the diagram, and this is the last one. Here uniform field perpendicular and emerging out of the plane of the diagram. So now we discuss the current loop as a magnetic dipole and dipole moment. So here this is the one coil. If we pass the current through this coil, and if we put this coil in a uniform magnetic field in between the south pole and the north pole, then there is the magnetic field towards the south pole, towards the north pole. So there is the equation for the magnetic dipole moment. So what is the mathematical statement, or what is the mathematical expression for the magnetic dipole moment? M bar is equal to I into A into n cap. SI unit of magnetic dipole moment is ampere meter square. So next, current solenoid as a magnetic dipole or a bar magnet. So this is about the current solenoid as a magnetic dipole or as a bar magnet. So now we discuss about the bar magnet. Suppose this is the one magnet. In this magnet there is the two poles. See here in the figure. So first one is the north pole and the second one is the south pole. So your magnetic dipole moment is south to north. So the total magnetic length from pole to pole. So this is the geographic length of the magnet bar magnet, and the line joining the poles of the magnet is called the magnetic axis. Okay, see here, there are the important terms about the bar magnet. So these all the important terms are the very important for the CET or for the MCQ. So what is the first term? The line joining the poles of the magnet is called as the magnetic axis. So see here, this is the, if we draw the line from P to P, so this line joins the two poles, then we can say this line is the magnetic axis. What is the second important term about the bar magnet? The distance between the poles of the magnet is called magnetic length of the magnet. Okay, so already we have considered the two poles. Okay, see here, this is the first pole and this is the second pole. The length between these two poles, we can say this length is the magnetic length of that of the magnet. Again, the distance between the ends of the magnet is called the geometric length of the magnet. The total length or the total distance between the two ends of the magnet and two lengths of the magnet, and we can say this length is known as the geometric length of the magnet. Okay, the ratio of magnetic length and the geometric length is nearly 0.84. Okay, so next, magnetic dipole and dipole moment. So now we discuss about the what is the magnetic dipole and dipole moment. So a pair of magnetic dipoles of equal and opposite strengths separated by a finite distance is called a magnetic pole. See here, very important terms. Okay, in this term, a pair of magnetic poles of equal and opposite strength. Okay, see here there is the pair of magnetic poles, means there is the one south pole and the one is the north pole. Equal and opposite strength. In these two poles there is the equal strength, but this strength is in opposite, separated by a finite distance. In between these two poles there is the finite distance, and we can say this is the magnetic dipole. Then the magnitude of dipole moment is the product of pole strength m and the separation 2l between the poles. Okay, see in this figure there is the m, this is the pole strength, and the separation between the two poles, total length between the two poles is the 2l. 2l means why we have taken 2l? One length from center of the magnet to the first pole, and another one l is the other side, there is the center of a magnet to the other pole. So l plus l, 2l. So this is the mathematical expression for the magnetic dipole moment. M bar is equal to m into 2l into I cap. So SI unit of pole strength is ampere meter. The direction of the dipole moment is from south pole to the north pole along the axis of the magnet. तुमच्या ज्या मॅग्नेटची डायपोलची मुवमेंट असेल ती मुवमेंट ही साऊथ पोल कडून नॉर्थ पोल कडे असेल, आणि ती कशाच्या बरोबर असेल? अलोंग द ऍक्सिस ऑफ द मॅग्नेट. सो नाउ वी डिस्कस अबाउट द कुलम्स लॉ इन मॅग्नेटिझम. व्हॉट इज द कुलम्स लॉ इन मॅग्नेटिझम? हाऊ वी स्टेट द कुलम्स लॉ? जेव्हा आपण मॅग्नेटिझमचा स्टडी करत असतो तेव्हा आपण कुलम्ब्स लॉ कसा तेव्हा आपण कुलम्ब्स लॉ कसा डिफाइन करणार किंवा कसा स्टेट करणार. The force of attraction or repulsion between the magnetic poles is directly proportional to the product of their pole strengths and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. This is the statement. Okay, this statement we can write mathematically. So here in this figure there is the two poles. So first one, on the first pole there is the m1, on the second pole there is the m2, and in between these two poles distance r. As per the our statement, your attractive force or repulsive force is directly proportional to the product of the pole strength of the two poles and inversely proportional to the, again proportional to the r square. Okay, here F is equal to force. This force may be attractive or force may be repulsive, is equal to K, where K is the constant, m1 m2 divided by r square. Or this mathematical formula write in form F is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi. This is 4 pi. This is the value of the constant K. K is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi. F is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi into m1 into m2 divided by r square. This is the mathematical expression of the Coulomb's law in the magnetism. So where K is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi is the constant, and the value of mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. So in vector form we can write this Coulomb's law of magnetism. F bar is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi into m1 into m2 into r bar divided by r square, or F bar is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi into m1 into m2 into r bar divided by r cube. So now we discuss about the magnetic intensity or the magnetizing force F. We discuss about the magnetizing force H. Okay, so first statement, magnetic intensity at a point is the force experienced by a north pole of unit pole strength placed at the point due to pole strength of the given magnet. So your magnetizing force H is equal to B divided by mu. Magnetic intensity or the magnetizing force H is the magnetic intensity at a point is the force experienced by the north pole of unit pole strength placed at that point due to the pole strength of the given magnet. H is equal to B divided by mu. So it is also defined as the magnetomotive force per unit length. Also again we defined it as the degree or extent to which a magnetic field can magnetize a substance. It can be also defined as the force experienced by a unit positive charge flowing with unit velocity in a direction normal to the magnetic field. So these are the four different types of the, in different words, the statement of the magnetic intensity or the magnetizing force H. The SI unit of magnetizing force H is ampere turns per linear meter. So again the CGS unit of magnetizing force H is Oersted. The magnetic field strength or the magnetic field or magnetic induction or the magnetic flux density B is, the magnetic flux density is the number of magnetic lines of force passing normally through a unit area of a substance. So B is equal to mu into H. So here B is the magnetic flux density, mu is the relative permeability, and H is the magnetizing force. Again, the SI unit of magnetic flux density is Weber per meter square or the Tesla, and the CGS unit of magnetic flux density is Gauss. Now 1 Gauss is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. This is the very important conversion. So in the MCQ you can ask like 1 Gauss is equal to how much Tesla? So your answer is 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. So next we discuss about the magnetic flux phi. First we define it, or first we define magnetic flux. So how we define this magnetic flux? It is defined as the number of magnetic lines of force passing normally through a surface, and the SI unit of magnetic flux is Weber. So what is the relation between the B and H? Magnetic flux density and the magnetizing force. The relation between the B and H is B is equal to mu H, where mu is the relative permeability of that medium. So next we discuss about the magnetic permeability mu. So it is the degree or extent to which magnetic lines of force can pass enter a substance. So its SI unit is Tesla meter per ampere or Weber per ampere per meter or H per meter. So this is the SI unit of the magnetic permeability mu. So we see the relative magnetic permeability mu R. It is the ratio of magnetic flux density in a material to that in column. So it can be also defined as the ratio of absolute permeability of the material to that in column. In mathematical, how we express the relative magnetic permeability mu R? So mu R is equal to B divided by B naught. So this is the mathematical expression for the relative permeability. So in this presentation there is the one sentence very important terms. So this one sentence very important terms are very important for your CET. On each and every term there is the more than one or more than two MCQs. So if we see first term magnetic flux, then in the MCQ तिथे तुम्हाला असाही क्वेश्चन असू शकतो, तिथे एक डेफिनेशन दिली असेल आणि ती विचारली जाईल कशाची डेफिनेशन असेल. जर का ती डेफिनेशन जर नंबर ऑफ मॅग्नेटिक लाईन्स ऑफ फोर्स पासिंग नॉर्मली थ्रू अ सरफेस असेल तर तुमचा आन्सर असेल मॅग्नेटिक फ्लक्स. किंवा तुम्हाला विचारलं जाईल मॅग्नेटिक फ्लक्सचं SI युनिट काय आहे तर तुमचा आन्सर असेल वेबर. तुम्हाला नेक्स्ट MCQचा क्वेश्चन मे बी असा असू शकेल, व्हॉट इज द रिलेशन बिटवीन द बी अँड द एच. मग तुमचं आन्सर असेल बी इज इक्वल टू म्यू इंटू एच. म्हणजे तुम्हाला या प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये ज्या काही वन सेंटेन्स इम्पॉर्टंट टर्म दिलेल्या आहेत त्या टर्म तुम्ही वन बाय वन रिमाइंड करणं, रीड करणं, लक्षात ठेवणं खूप महत्वाचं आहे. प्रत्येक टर्म वरती तुम्हाला एक किंवा त्याच्यापेक्षा जास्त MCQ विचारले जाऊ शकते. होतंय का याच्यामध्ये आपण जर का एकापेक्षा जास्त टर्म जर बघितल्या तर ह्या मॅग्नेटिझम मध्ये आपल्याला खूप काही असं कॉम्प्लिकेटेड असल्यासारखं वाटतं की सेमच टर्म आहेत किंवा याच्यामधला जास्त डिफरन्स समजून येत नाही. त्याच्यासाठी आपल्याला आपलं रीडिंग जास्तीत जास्त रीडिंग करणं हे महत्वाचं आहे. जास्तीत जास्त टेक्स्ट बुक रीड करणं, रेफर करणं महत्वाचं आहे. सो ओके, सो वी डिस्कस नेक्स्ट अनदर वन form of the relative magnetic permeability is mu R is equal to mu divided by mu. So next we discuss about the intensity of the magnetization I. It is okay, the statement of the intensity of magnetization. What is the statement for intensity of the magnetization? It is the degree to which a substance is magnetized when placed in a magnetic field. Okay, another one statement of intensity of magnetization, किंवा दुसऱ्या वेगळ्या प्रकारे आपण कसं ते स्टेट करू शकतो. इट कॅन ऑल्सो बी डिफाइंड ॲज द मॅग्नेटिक डायपोल मोमेंट m acquired per unit volume of the substance V. Okay, another one form or another one definition for the intensity of magnetization. अजून दुसऱ्या कोणत्या वर्ड मध्ये आपण याची डेफिनेशन डिफाइन करू शकतो. The pole strength m per unit cross sectional area A of the substance. So I is equal to m divided by V. I is equal to m into twice L divided by A into 2L is equal to m divided by A. So SI unit of intensity of magnetization is ampere per meter. So the magnetic susceptibility. What is the magnetic susceptibility? Cm. It is the property of the substance which shows how easily a substance can be magnetized. ही एक सबस्टन्सची प्रॉपर्टी आहे आणि ती सबस्टन्सची प्रॉपर्टी आपल्याला काय शो करते की एखादा सबस्टन्स इझिली कसा मॅग्नेटाइज्ड झालेला आहे किंवा which shows how easily a substance can be magnetized. So in another form, how we define the magnetic susceptibility? It can also be defined as the ratio of intensity of magnetization I in a substance to the magnetic intensity H applied to the substance. So Cm is equal to I divided by H. Susceptibility has no unit. ओके, दिस इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. तुम्हाला जर MCQ मध्ये विचारलं व्हॉट इज द SI युनिट ऑफ द ससेप्टिबिलिटी, सो युअर आन्सर इज नो युनिट. So what is the relation between the magnetic permeability and the susceptibility? The relation between the magnetic permeability mu r and the susceptibility Cm is mu r is equal to 1 plus Cm. Okay, so now we discuss about the magnetic field due to a magnetic dipole or the bar magnetic or bar magnet. So there are some points, so in which the first point is the at a point on the axial line of the magnet. Okay, so this is the figure. In that figure, one magnet, south pole, north pole, magnetic moment. Okay, 2L length of that magnet. Okay, considering point P on the axis, so the distance from the at the center of the axis to considering point P is the x. So Bn, the Bs, Bp at the point P or magnetic field is equal to Bn minus Bs. So relation in mathematical form at the point P or magnetic field is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi, its constant value 2 into mx divided by x square minus I square whole bracket square. So if I is less than x, then we can write Bp is nearly equal to mu naught into 2m divided by 4 pi into x cube. Okay, when if you are considering point is on the axial line. Okay, in the second case we take our considering point on the equatorial line, means this equatorial line means perpendicular to that of your axial line. So we can say this is the equatorial line. Okay, see here your point is at Q, considering point is at point Q. Okay, so theta, two angles. Okay, then your final equation BQ is equal to mu naught into m divided by 4 pi into y square plus I square, so whole bracket 3 by 2. Or if your I is very less than y, then we can write BP is nearly equal to mu naught into m divided by 4 pi into y cube. So magnetic field at a point on the axial line acts along the dipole moment vector. Okay, if The magnetic field at a point on a equatorial line acts opposite to the dipole moment vector. So now we discuss about the torque on a magnetic dipole in uniform magnetic field. So first we discuss about the what is meant by the torque. Torque is a measure of the force and this force is around the axis. टॉर्क हे फोर्स मेजर करत असतं आणि तो जो फोर्स असतो तो एखाद्या पर्टिक्युलर ऍक्सिसच्या भोवती सर्क्युलर असतो. See here in this figure there is the one bar magnet, south pole, north pole. Okay, in both the poles, at both the poles there is the magnetic force and this magnetic force is in opposite directions. You are at south pole, your force is towards the paper, and at on your north pole your force is towards the out of the paper. So this is the angle between the magnetic field and the your magnet. Length of that magnetic length between the two poles is the 2L. So the forces of magnitude mb acts opposite to each other. Okay, these two forces are opposite to each other. Okay, one force on south pole and other force on the north pole. Hence net force acting on the bar magnet due to the external uniform magnetic field is zero. Means on the bar magnet there is the net force is zero or the uniform magnetic field is zero. Why? Because of the external uniform magnetic field there is the force is zero, so there is no translational motion of the magnet. However, the forces are along different lines of action and constitute a couple. Hence the magnet will rotate and experience the torque. So torque is equal to magnetic force into the perpendicular distance. So tau is equal to mb2l sin theta. So is equal to mb sin theta. So tau is equal to m into b. Tau bar is equal to m bar into b bar. So direction of torque is perpendicular and into the plane containing m bar and b bar. So next we discuss about the work done on a magnetic dipole in uniform magnetic field. So this is the uniform magnetic field. In that uniform magnetic field there is the one magnet and there is the rotation of that magnet. First initial theta 1 and the second there is the angle theta 2. So work done, total work done, dw is equal to t d theta, where t is the torque and tau is equal to mb sin theta. So dw work done is equal to mb sin theta d theta. So work done w is equal to integration mb sin theta d theta. So your work done is varies from theta 1 to theta 2. So work done is equal to integration of theta 1 to theta 2 mb sin theta d theta. So work done w is equal to mb cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. So if potential energy is arbitrarily taken 0 when the dipole is at 90 degree, then your potential energy in rotating the dipole and inclining at an angle theta is potential energy is equal to minus mb cos theta. Note, if potential energy can be taken 0 arbitrarily at any position of the dipole. So next we discuss about the terrestrial magnetism. So in this case there is the different terms. There are 6 different terms. So we discuss one by one or we state one by one state. So first statement is the geographic axis. What is meant by the geographic axis? Geographic axis is a straight line passing through the geographical pole of the earth. It is the axis of rotation of the earth. It is also known as polar axis. So second statement is the geographic meridian. At any place is a vertical plane passing through a geographic north and south pole of the earth, and this is known as the geographic meridian. The next statement is the for the geographic equator. Geographic equator is a great circle on the surface of the earth in a plane perpendicular to the geographic axis. All the points on the geographic equator are at equal distances from the geographic poles. What is meant by the magnetic axis is the straight line passing through the magnetic poles of the earth. It is inclined to geographic axis nearly at an angle of 17 degrees Celsius. Next term is the magnetic meridian. Magnetic meridian at any place is a vertical plane passing through the magnetic north and south poles of the earth. And the last term, the last statement for the magnetic equator. And the magnetic equator is a great circle on the surface of the earth in a plane perpendicular to the magnetic axis. All the poles on the magnetic equator are at equal distances from the magnetic poles. So this is the declination theta, geographic meridian, magnetic meridian, angle between theta. So the angle between the magnetic meridian and the geographic meridian at a place is known as the declination at that place. It varies from place to place. Lines shown on the map through the places that have the same declination are called a isogonic line. So line drawn through place that have zero declination is called an agonic line. So dip or inclination. What is meant by the dip or inclination? See in this figure, delta. So the angle between the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field and the Earth's resultant magnetic field at a place is dip or inclination of that place. It is 0 at the equator and 90 degree at the poles. When this dip or inclination delta is at the equator, 0. If this dip or inclination delta is at the poles, then there is the 90 degree. So the lines drawn up on the map through places that have the same dip are called isoclinic lines, and the line drawn through the place that have zero dip is known as the clinic line. It is a magnetic equator. So horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field BH. The total intensity of the Earth's magnetic field does not lie in any horizontal plane. So instead it lies along the direction at an angle of dip delta to the horizontal. The component of the Earth's magnetic field along the horizontal at an angle delta is called the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. So Earth's magnetic field, or the BH, is equal to B cos delta. Similarly, vertical component, if your horizontal component, then BH is equal to B cos theta. If your there is the vertical component of Earth's magnetic field, then BV is equal to B sine delta, such that B is equal to under root BH square plus BV square. So now we discuss about the tangent law. What is the tangent law? How we define tangent law? So the tangent law is, if a magnetic needle is suspended in a region where two uniform magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other, the needle will align itself along the direction of the resultant field of the two fields at an angle theta, such that the tangent of the angle is the ratio of the two fields. So tan theta is equal to V2 divided by V1. So now we compare the diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, or the ferromagnetic materials, this in the tabular form. So first comparison in between the diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials is the, so first, the diamagnetic substances are those substances which are freely repelled by a magnet, and the example of diamagnetic material is antimony, copper, gold, bismuth, silver, phosphorus, mercury, alcohol, air, water. These are the some of the examples of the diamagnetic material. Then next we go to the paramagnetic materials. So what are the paramagnetic materials? The paramagnetic substances are those substances which are feebly attracted by a magnet. So if we go to the example of the paramagnetic material, aluminium, chromium, alkali and alkaline earth metals, and the oxygen. These are the some of the examples of the paramagnetic materials. If we go to the ferromagnetic materials, then ferromagnetic substances are those substances which are strongly attracted by a magnet, and the example of the ferromagnetic materials are iron, cobalt, nickel. These are the some of the examples of the ferromagnetic materials. Means if we comparing diamagnetic material, paramagnetic material and the ferromagnetic material on the basis of the magnetic force attractive or the repulsive. So in case of the ferromagnetic material, there is the strongly attraction towards the magnet. In paramagnetic material there is less attraction. In case of diamagnetic material there is the no attraction of the materials towards the magnet. So second comparison, when diamagnetic materials are placed in a magnetic field, the lines of the force tends to avoid the substance. In case of paramagnetic material, the lines of force prefer to pass through the substances rather than the air. If we place the paramagnetic material in the magnetic field, then the lines of force refers to pass through the substances rather than the air. But in case of the ferromagnetic material, when we uh, put the ferromagnetic material in the magnetic field, then the lines of the force tends to crowd into the specimen. So this is the best example. See in the picture, in case of the diamagnetic material, no magnetic lines passing through the material, but in case of the paramagnetic, some of the magnetic lines passing through the material, and in case of the ferromagnetic material, number of lines passing through the material or passing through the magnetic material. So next comparison, when the paramagnetic material placed in non-uniform magnetic field, it moves from stronger to weaker field. But in case of the paramagnetic material, when we put the paramagnetic material in non-uniform magnetic field, it moves from weaker to the stronger field. Exactly opposite to that of the diamagnetic. But in case of the ferromagnetic material, when this ferromagnetic material placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, it moves from weaker to stronger field. Means your paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials behaves same, but your diamagnetic material behaves opposite to that of the para and ferro. Okay, next comparison, when a diamagnetic rod is freely suspended in a uniform magnetic field, it aligns itself in a direction perpendicular to the field. When a diamagnetic rod is freely suspended in a uniform magnetic field, it aligns itself in a direction perpendicular to the field. But in case of a paramagnetic materials, when a paramagnetic rod is freely suspended in a uniform magnetic field. It aligns itself in a direction parallel to the field. At the last, when the ferromagnetic rod is freely suspended in a uniform magnetic field, it aligns itself in a direction parallel to the field very quickly. So see in the picture how was the freely suspended diamagnetic rod behaves in a magnetic uniform magnetic field. See paramagnetic material rod, see the ferromagnetic material. And the last comparison, if diamagnetic liquid taken in a watch glass is placed in a uniform magnetic field, it collects away from the center when the magnetic poles are closer and collects at the center when the magnetic poles are from away or the further. If paramagnetic liquid taken in a watch glass, it placed in a uniform magnetic field, it collects at the center when the magnetic poles are closer and collects away from the center when the magnetic poles are not in closer. In case of the ferromagnetic material, if ferromagnetic liquid taken in a watch glass is placed in uniform magnetic field, it collects at the center when your magnetic poles are closer and it collects away from the center when your magnetic poles are not in a close. So this is all about the magnetic or field or the magnetism. So in this presentation all the sentences, one line sentence or one line statement are very important for your CET. So this single table is the comparative study of the diamagnetic, paramagnetic or ferromagnetic materials. If you refer only this table for diamagnetic, paramagnetic or ferromagnetic materials, magnetic materials, then it is enough for your CET or for your JEE. एवढ्या टेबल वरून सुद्धा तुम्ही डायमॅग्नेटिक, पॅरामॅग्नेटिक आणि फेरोमॅग्नेटिक मटेरियल्स कंपेअर करू शकता. याच्यावरचे MCQ काय विचारले जाऊ शकतील, कसे विचारले जाऊ शकतील. एकतर स्टेटमेंट दिलं जाईल, मे बी काय कोणत्याही मटेरियलचं, मे बी पॅरामॅग्नेटिक, मे बी फेरोमॅग्नेटिक, मे बी डायमॅग्नेटिक मटेरियलचं, ते जे स्टेटमेंट आहे ते स्टेटमेंट आपल्याला ओळखायचं आहे की ते स्टेटमेंट कशाचं आहे. दुसरं मे बी तुम्हाला एक एक्झाम्पल दिलं जाईल किंवा सांगितलं जाईल की जेव्हा तुम्ही एखादं पॅरामॅग्नेटिक मटेरियल एखाद्या मॅग्नेटिक फील्ड मध्ये ठेवता तेव्हा त्याच्यामध्ये लाईनचं अरेंजमेंट कसं होईल, तेव्हा तुमचा आन्सर पाहिजे लाईन्स ऑफ फोर्सेस प्रेफर टू पास थ्रू द सबस्टन्सेस रादर दॅन द एअर. एअर मधून न जाता ते तुमच्या मॅग्नेट मधून किंवा त्या मटेरियल मधून लाईन्स जाते. किंवा तुम्हाला एक्झाम्पल दिलं जाईल, एक MCQ दिलं जाईल, त्याच्यामध्ये विचारलं जाईल की हे मटेरियल आहे ते कशाचं एक्झाम्पल आहे. सपोज in your question antimony is the type of material, so your answer is the diamagnetic, not a para, not a ferro. So your example of these three materials is very important. Why? एक्झाम्पल वरती तू कसलाही क्वेश्चन विचारले जाऊ शकतील. So this is all about the magnetism. So today we stop here. Thank you.